yoga practice, you'll be moving from your center. The idea is to move as a connected whole from the center of the body. Physically, it's about trunk engagement and core awareness. Psychologically, it might lead to feelings of balance and inner strength, because as much as the mind affects the body, also the body affects the mind. Let's get started by lying on the back. Knees bent, bottom of your feet onto the floor, and your arms next to you. Close your eyes. Settling and arriving for a couple of breaths. Now, turning your attention more to the breath, take a normal inhale breath and fill up. And then a normal exhale breath and empty. But at the end of that out breath, see if you can exhale a little bit more all the air out. What happens in your center when you do that? Then breathing in, fill up again. Breathing out, empty again. But when you think that you've done with the breath out, see if you can expel a little more of that out breath out of the lungs and notice sensations in your body, in the center. Then reopen your eyes as you breathe in, prepare. And as you breathe out, lift your left hand and arm, your head and shoulders. Take your hand diagonally across to tap the outside of your right knee as you complete your exhale breath. Inhaling back to the floor. Exhaling now with your right hand across to tap the outside of the left knee. And again, in to the floor, out. Left hand outside the right knee, all the air out. In, out, right hand to the outside of the left knee. Expel all of the out breath. And then come back to the floor and lift your arms overhead, preparing here for your next movement. So, next time that you completely breathe out, take your hands to your thighs and grab them, lift your head and shoulders, and see if you can feel that strength in the front of your spine as you bend it a little bit. Then come back to the floor and lift your arms overhead, breathing in. Also, step your feet an inch farther forward. And as you breathe out, same thing, grab your thighs, lift your head and shoulders, and see if you can feel the muscles here in the front of your spine. Come back to the floor as you breathe in and lift your arms overhead. Step the feet farther forward, just a touch. And as you breathe out, grab your thighs, bend the spine, come all the way up to a seated position. Wave your spine nice and long. Then bring your feet together and, like opening a book, come into a butterfly position, a small forward fold, and you can sway side to side, just to let everything soften out. Now, from here, we'll combine a little bit of active hip movement with trunk engagement. So here, take your hands near your hips, fingers are turned out to the back of the mat. Lift the chest and actively pull your legs, pull your knees down toward the floor. Take a moment. Then, like closing the pages of your book, left knee to the right knee. Now, keep the knees, shins and feet on the floor. Lift your pelvis up towards the ceiling, taking the arm over the head and making the spine look like a rainbow arc. What's going on through the right side of your body? Can you feel that? Sit down, 2 hands on the mat, lift the chest, pull the knees actively down toward the floor. Then close in the book, right knee over left, pick up the entire pelvis, and as you move into this lateral flexion movement of the spine, feel how you are trying to bring the shoulder and the hip on this side of the trunk more together, and then let it go and sit down. Shall we do it again? So hands to the hips, lift the chest, knees down. Breathing out, knees together, lift your pelvis, shoulder and hip moving toward one another. Sit down, back here, active butterfly in and out. Left shoulder, left hip moving together. Sit down, back into your active butterfly for a moment, and then you can turn to the back of your mat and enter a kind of a child's pose / puppy dog. Curl up the toes toward the floor. Extend your arms out and forward so you're feeling nice and long from your hips to your fingertips. Maybe with the forehead on the mat, take a couple of breaths, noticing sensations in the front of the shoulders and breathing. From here, take off with your hips toward your hands, but also bend your spine round your back, chin to chest. When your shoulders are approximately over your hands, look forwards, shoulders away from your earlobes. And now, just for fun, stick your bum out, pull the hips back, but look forwards throughout the movement until you're very near the floor. One more time. In, round out, shoulder over hands, stick your bum out. And as you exhale, look forwards and back to the floor. One more time, breathing in, wave your spine forward, and this time stay here, breathing out. Step back with your hands so you line them up more with your shoulders. Next time that you exhale, you're going to pull your hands towards your knees, bend your arms straight back, and think of expelling all the air out of the body as you lower slowly down to the floor. Well done. Untuck the toes, hands to the legs for a locust variation. Sweep the left arm forward as you lift it up towards the ceiling together with your right leg. So it's the opposite arm and leg, and then lower. Now, right arm and left leg. We've got a little diagonal pulling action in the back of the body, and release. And now left arm, right leg again. Feel that strength in the back of the body. And one more time, right arm, left leg. From here, with your thumbs, maybe you can find the bottom ribs. Plant your hands next to them. Roll the shoulders down, tuck the toes. Next time that you exhale, push the floor away to straight arms. Then take a breath in this kneeling plank, and as you breathe out, stick the bum out, pull the hips back and come back to that kind of a puppy dog. Then keep your head low to the ground, around your back, shoulders moving towards hands, look forwards, breathing out, pull the hips back. One more time, in, roll forward, out with your tailbone lifted. As you approach your feet, send the hips up towards the ceiling and come into a downward dog. Take a couple of breaths and move around a little bit. You know, you can walk the feet in place, you can move your hands, and then take a moment, one long breath out with the knees as bent as you like. Now, baby steps until you get to the front of the mat. In a standing forward fold, you can shake your hands, adjust what needs to be adjusted, maybe have a gap between the feet, and a small bend in your knees. Now, a double exit. Bring your fingertips to the top of the shin bones, elongate your spine, and stay here as you breathe out. Make your arms look like an airplane. And then feel what's going on deep down in the belly with that support. Leading with the chest, stand up, bring your hands together. And now pull energy all the way down to the earth, but sweep your arms back towards the hips. Look forwards. Pull your hips down and back for a chair pose. Trunk, shoulders, arms, forward and up. A full cycle of breath here. Emphasize that long exhale breath. And be a little bit curious about sensations in your center. Okay, slowly with the next breath out, lower your hips and more and more and more and more. Maybe you need to take your hands behind you, sit down, and as you sit down, step forward another inch with your feet. We're gonna do a half boat pose with the feet on the floor. So, once you've got that in place, lean back with your chest, but lifted up towards the sky. And stretch your arms out, hands together. So here already you can feel how the trunk is holding up, but now if you breathe out and like an archer, you pull the left hand toward the chest and then turn, look over the left shoulder. So you're pulling back with the left hand and pushing away through the forward hand, through the front hand. And then come back to that mock half boat pose. Exhaling like an archer, pull the right hand back, look over the shoulder. Inhaling, center, lift your chest. One more. Exhaling, twist left. Inhaling, center. Exhaling, twist right. Center again. And now lean back a little bit more, but lift your chest and your feet off the ground. Big toes together, splay out your knees. See if you can send the center of the chest up towards the ceiling and forward and forward and forward. And then bring the knees back to the floor, the feet I meant, and fold forward and sway a little bit side to side, side to side. Let that go. Take a breath. Okay, maybe you start feeling a little more of that fiery energy that's coming from the center of your body. That's a nice cleansing type of energy. Now from here, if you come back to your butterfly position, hands by the hips, knees down, take a breath. And just once, knees together, breathing out, lift your pelvis, magnetize left shoulder with right hip. Sit down, inhaling, tall through the spine, pull the knees toward the floor. Exhaling, knees together, lift your pelvis, magnetize right shoulder, right hip together. Then sit down and find your way as you close your knees to the front of your mat again. Curl up your toes toward the floor. Stretch out long through your arms. The elbows are indeed off the ground. Take a breath here and another one. Recalibrate. One last cycle of breath before we start the flow again. Breathing in, take off with the hips. Really deeply bend your spine as you glide your shoulders forward. Then lift your head, stick your bum out. Breathing out, pull the hips back and fold. One more. In, wave your spine forward. Out. Keep looking forwards. And then lower your head. This time different. Wave your spine forward. Yes. But now bring your hands a little further back so that they feel more underneath your shoulders. Next breath out. Pull your hands towards your knees. Lower down in one piece. Good. And then here, we're going to move into a kind of a Sphinx pose. So, From your Sphinx pose, turn the left forearm toward the chest so it's parallel to the front of the mat. Roll off to that side of the mat, bending your legs, pulling your feet in. Your legs are stacked. We're gonna do something similar to our butterfly into the side bend position, but this time we'll be using our forearm. Okay, so from here, pull up the pelvis towards the ceiling as before and unfurl your right arm. And really you want to draw the shoulder and the hip together. Take another breath in and a long breath out. Push the floor away with your left elbow and then let something soften and roll back into the more classic Sphinx pose, taking a breath before doing the other side. So turn the right forearm toward you, bend your legs, and of course, the left elbow, sorry, I meant the right elbow is underneath your right shoulder. Pick up the pelvis and lift the left arm toward the ceiling. Now, the idea is that we can build more strength here in these variation of side plank, which are on the forearm and less wrist heavy than in the more classic positions. Okay, I hope you can feel the side of your body pretty clearly. Those are the side abdominals. And then roll back down and into your Sphinx and take a breath here. Okay, so let's do this again. Turn left forearm in, roll to the edge of the mat, pick up the pelvis. Okay, take a nice big breath in. As you breathe out, try stretch your right leg nice and long and away from the bottom one. And feel how your core is radiating throughout all of the limbs and how the limbs connect to your trunk. Release, roll back onto the front of your body and switch sides. Get ready. Back in that variation of a forearm side plank. As you breathe out, stretch your left leg long. Take a nice big breath in and out. So when we talk about core stability, we really refer to full body movements such as this one. Let everything soften out. Roll back onto the front of your body. Take a moment to stretch your back. And then come out. Find the bottom ribs with your thumbs. Tuck the toes. Breathing out. Push the floor away so while you are in that kneeling type of plank. Then maybe plank. Then downward dog. And walk to your hands to then sit down, feet in front of you. Stretch your arms out. This time, instead of the half boat, we are going to bend our spine. So tuck the pelvis and tailbone under, and now roll down, touching the bones of the spine to the floor. But can you keep your toes on the ground? When you arrive, lift your arms overhead. And as you breathe out, reach your fingers towards your legs. Bend your spine, chin to chest. See if you can lift yourself up, keeping the toes on the floor. Did you manage that? And then from here, your arms can go in front of you and a little bit to the left. So we're adding some twisting. Actually, lean left slightly. And then tuck the pelvis under and roll it down, keeping the toes on the floor. Ooh, left shoulder, right shoulder. Lift your arms overhead. As you exhale, bend your spine, roll up. Breathing in, unfurl those arms and out. Arms in front of you to the right. Lean that way. Rolling down, feeling perhaps your trunk in a slightly different way. Lift your arms overhead last time. Reach forward, exhaling all the air out. Sweep your arms up. And now from here, stretch your legs out. Have your arms in front of you. And a very last time, all the way down. Ooh, let's do a little stretch to finish. Lift your arms overhead. We'll do the banana stretch. So with your legs and feet, walk a couple of inches to the right and do the same with shoulders, head and arms. Okay, so then you can cross your left leg and ankle over the right one and make sure that the back of the left hip and the back of the left shoulder are in contact with the floor. Take another breath here. If you want to pull the left arm a little bit away from the rest of your body, feel free. And then relax and switch, creating the shape of the banana to the left, crossing the legs, maybe pulling the right arm. And release. Come back to center. You can tuck the knees into your chest and give your legs a little squeeze. And then from here, knees to the right. You can hold on to them if you want to. Unfurl the left arm, a couple of breaths. Just a little bit of stretching. And also to bring that more warming type of energy down again. Switch sides with your legs. Easy breathing as we come to the end of our practice. And back to center, feet on the floor. And here you could rest in constructive rest or in Shavasana. It's entirely up to you. Yeah. But I'm going to leave you exactly where you are so that you can choose how long you should stay in Shavasana or final relaxation. And if you want to finish with me, if you think, oh yes, this is fine, I'm feeling ready to go, then join me as we roll off toward one side of the mat and gently press ourselves up to sitting. And as always, sit with me if you're finishing with me for just a breath or two, hands in prayer. I hope you're feeling a little stronger, and also maybe this will help you to feel slightly more confident in everyday life. Thank you for practicing yoga with me. See you soon again.